it'd be interesting to see what you think about this. So I said to them, I'm going to make you the interview panel today, and I'm going to tell you 3 vets that I interview that actually are old vets now, but to see which you prefer. So vet number 1, the first question I always ask in an interview is one to relax the student. So many interviewers seem to want to do the opposite to the student, but I want to relax the student. And I say to them, have you got a case, an animal that you've seen while you've been doing work experience that actually you could, they excited you, interested you, challenged you, that you could tell us about? And so here's student number 1 who comes in and he says, oh, this dog was knocked over and broke its leg, and they took an X-ray and they opened the muscle. They give it an anesthetic. They open the muscles. They put a plate in with screws to screw it in place, and they sorted it. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 says, oh, we had this dog that I was knocked over by a car, and they X-rayed it, had a mid-shaft femoral fracture. And so they interestingly, I was interested to see as they did the operation, they parted the muscles so they didn't cut through them. So there was better healing and less blood to obscure the side. And then they put this plate on, but interesting, the plate had oval screw holes. So as they screwed it in, it joined the bones together. And actually, apparently, there's these things called Haversian canals that if they're joined together well enough, heal the bone much quicker. Oh, in fact, we like that, don't we? Well, at Cambridge, we like someone who's a bit scientific like that. So then third candidate, it's a lovely young lady, and I'm probably not allowed to say that these days. But anyway, and she said, well, this dog came in with a fractured leg, and it was fractured in so many places that after they'd done the X-ray, they put a number of different pins through the skin and the muscle into the bone and out the other side, and then they created this metal sort of scaffold around it. That was interesting, but what was really interesting was what the vet did beforehand. He knelt down to the 2 children that were there and she said, I do remember this so well. And I hope if you're out there, listen, you can remember saying this, whoever you are, because I can't remember your name, but she said, actually, the children were more broken than the dog's leg was. Wow. Now that's somebody who's really seeing what's going on. And then she said, the vet said, I'm going to mend your little bonzo's leg, and I'm going to put this weird contraption around it. Don't worry, it looks whole, but it'll mend it all together. But I can do that today. What you've got to do over the next weeks is love Bonzo and care for him and not be put off by this horrible thing around his leg, and love him. Now, I said to the assembled multitude at dinner, who would you, forget who you would bring in as a vet student, who would you want to take your dog to in maybe 8 years' time to care for him? It's a no-brainer, isn't it? We interviewed 36 candidates for 4 places last week. And actually, tomorrow we have our decision meeting where the 2 physiologists who interviewed them for science, and myself and the lovely Lucy, who actually I interviewed to come in 2002. So the 2 of us had rather different questions to ask than the scientists, but hopefully together we'll work out who's going to be best to be a wonderful vet and also to be able to survive the 6 years at Cambridge.
And the stresses afterwards.
And the stresses afterwards, yeah, exactly. Although I have a feeling, actually, one thing that Cambridge does better than any other vet school, I think, Cambridge, I'm saying this, is to make people resilient. Because the stresses you come under at Cambridge when you're taught by Nobel Prize winners, and then they expect you to remember what they taught you. Those are far more than any normal vet school that actually teaches you in a clinically relevant setting.
I think you're right.
Apologies to everyone from Cambridge for saying that. But what I do is I make sure. So every week, do you remember something that might sit in the old days, used to sit on your back seat of your car, still in its plastic wrapping, the veterinary record?
Yes, it is now in a paper wrap. Still seats on the back seat.
I rip those open every week and I give them to the students, and then I get them to review one of the articles from there. So the seropositivity of wild dogs in Tanzania to rabies, or something really relevant that
absolutely cutting edge. Yeah,
exactly. So I mean, so nothing wrong with some great stuff. So and then every week, through those years when actually all they're going to get in the lectures is hardcore science. I then bring veterinary medicine into them, so hopefully I keep them going as vets, even for the hardness of basic science that we teach them the first 2 years.
And I think you're right. We've got to bring the humanity in. So